Really, what this is after I've published all of the episodes of Bionicle the Game GBA and Maze of Shadows. And I haven't got everything I want done yet to get myself ready to upload and publish the next things. Mostly published because I've already uploaded a lot of them. And so I'm doing something here just to kind of put something in the gap so there isn't three three or 4 weeks of no content being posted. Just so my 18 subscribers and the 30 or so people that seem to lurk on my channel know that I'm still alive. But also, I would like to go through a lot of the, like, say, classic games or games that are the foundation of video games, sort of early video games. Um, Minesweeper is one of them. Some other things I can think of would perhaps be Pong. Oh, I skipped this. Who needs a tutorial for Minesweeper? Okay, how do I get rid of you? How do I get rid of this tutorial thing? To click on one of these boxes. Ow. Minesweeper got, there we go. Okay, got it. Minesweeper got an annoying UI. Um, so another thing that comes to mind would be, um, but this doesn't make any sense. How do I satisfy this one without creating a double on that one? Oh, I accidentally flagged it. Okay. Um, would be like the original Mario. The problem is with Mario is that it's a Nintendo property. And Nintendo is very protective with their intellectual property, which is fine, but it means that you can't really effectively do Let's Plays of Nintendo. You might be able to get away with it with the background music off. So the whole beep bop bop ba da bop ba bop ba bop. You could mute that perhaps. I know that LJ did some original Mario on Twitch. I don't know how he did the audio on that though. I don't know how Twitch works when it comes to copyright. Um, I've already mentioned Pong, but games like Dark Souls, they're not very old, of course, but they sort of matter in that they're somewhat foundational when it comes to video games. They give you a good introduction to, like, I don't know, video games. Anyway, um, so when I was a kid, assuming I'm not a kid anymore, um, my parents had a computer that had Windows 3 on it, specifically Windows 3.1, that they used for my father to do his dissertation with. Um, and it had Minesweeper pre-installed, and then and then I deleted it off of it because I would delete everything it was possible to delete, and then my mother reinstalled Windows and that brought it back. But anyway, um, I didn't really understand it first looking at it, so my mom had to explain to me how to play it. And of course, if you click on a space, you either blow up or it'll give you a number, which is the amount of bombs that are touching it, like by edge or diagonal. And if there is no bombs touching it by edge or diagonal, the spaces around that space will be revealed, and it's more so in a chain reaction until you get out to all of the spaces that, um, all of the spaces that have a bomb adjacent to them or a bomb touching them. And I would just, without even considering this at all, just reflexively, just say that that was called a touche. And if you would have talked to me about Minesweeper um, in that era, I would have just referred to these things as a touche and expected you to understand what I was talking about. I don't know how I came up with that, but just like, that's what they're called. It's like I already knew that that was part of the language. It's just like no one taught me it, but it's not like I thought I was even making up a word. I thought that that was just the word. My brain just came up with it, and I was confident in that naming. So this right here, it's called a touche. So if I say something's called a touche, that's what I'm referring to. So if I try to come up with fun facts about Minesweeper, which is kind of pointless, um, what I do know is there's I guess they would call it unsolved problem in mathematics. This is so uninteresting. We get to the end of this and be like, why is he? This is like, why is he bothering? I'm wondering if I know they say you can pay to get the ads removed, and this is like free advertising for whatever because it's being captured on my video capture. But it might work if you just disconnected. If I just disconnected my internet. But anyway, so they wouldn't know which ads to get. So um, it's called the NP problem. And being not a mathematician, I am not really well versed in this, and could easily make a mistake trying to describe this thing called the NP problem. But I'll do it just so I have something to say. I'll try to describe this to the best of my ability. So consider like a bunch of input bits, say n input bits, any sort of logic circuit, any sort of sequence of logic gates that ends in one output. So n inputs to one output. And there's a bunch of ands and ors and nots and nands and nors, and XORs, which is a composite of nands and so on. Everything can be written as with nands. Usually you say nands and nots because although a not is just a NAND with both the inputs connected together, it's much less hardware expensive to implement a not than a NAND with the inputs connected together. Um, Consider trying to evaluate whether or not a sequence of like some sort of something you put in for those bits um, evaluates the output to be 1 or 0. How long would it take, and how long would that time scale with the number of bits? Well, you look at it and go, okay, it's about a triangle, and it's probably somewhere around, goes like the amount of bits squared, right? So to evaluate this thing, you would do it in the amount of time it would take propagating through would go roughly like, well, the amount of gates would be like n squared. The time propagating through would be like n if you were to do it with like an FPGA. The problem is if you're doing it like with a simulation, then it would be like n squared because you have to evaluate each of those gates individually in your simulation. So if you're doing it like on a processor, it would be like n squared. On the actual thing, it would be like n. But my point is, it's what we call polynomial time. So the amount of time it would take to evaluate these gates goes like a polynomial with respect to the number of bits in the input. But let's say you wanted to solve this problem. Is there a way? Is there a set of inputs I can put in such that the output is 1? So there could be like a set of logic gates where no matter what you put in as the inputs, there is no output of 1. There's no way to get an output of 1. You can make it like this, the output is always 0. We call this the satisfiability problem. Does there exist a set of inputs? I'm really struggling trying to figure out how to progress in here. Oh, I'm an idiot. You're probably all screaming at me. So is there a set of inputs I can make such that the output turns out to be 1? Satisfiability. Got a big touche there. And okay, this is kind of boring. So apparently there's a way to prove that if it takes exponential time to evaluate different inputs, that to find if there's an input that makes a certain result also would take exponential time. But no one has proved, but this is some of this polynomial time, but if you imagine trying to solve this problem, like trying all the possible combinations of the inputs would be like 2 to the n. And there's probably some clever way to do it that's not brute forcing it. That's like maybe like 1.6 to the n or something. But no one thus far has figured out a way to solve the satisfiability problem with something that's not exponential time. So it's one where it's evaluating its polynomial time, but then trying to figure out if it something where it evaluates to an answer is exponential time. For some reason, no one has figured out a way to prove that there exists a way to do it in polynomial time, or whether there is no way to do it in polynomial time. Just we haven't thought of a way to do it yet. Now, why does that matter? Well, if you've ever taken any sort of like pre-calculus class, not even calculus, in the United States, you have this thing called pre-calculus you're supposed to take before calculus. It's completely unnecessary and wastes your time. You should just drop right into calculus, but that's how our education system is. So, where you should know that if you have an expression with an exponential over a polynomial, the polynomial could be larger than the exponential for a small like argument. But always, if you take the limit that the argument goes, the independent variable is like x. So it's like an exponential of x over a polynomial of x. If x goes to infinity, the exponential will always win once x becomes large enough. So if you have two algorithms, one that scales like a polynomial with respect to the number of inputs, and another which scales like a exponential with respect to the number of inputs, then eventually, even if the exponential one might be faster for a small number of inputs, if you get enough inputs, eventually the exponential will be slower. And because we always want to make our computer systems higher, scale them up and up and up and up and up, we theoretically would eventually be able to, with infinite scaling up of computer systems, make it so that all of our polynomial time algorithms eventually become our best choice. So we want to figure out ways to decrease, not necessarily always make the fastest algorithms, but the ones that don't increase as fast with the scale. Now, someone figured out where I'm trying to go with this is someone figured out, and it's really complicated proof, that you could make the satisfiability problem in Minesweeper. That is, all of the inputs are essentially all of these squares that are touching a number. And so forget that this is a contrived thing where so when you make a Minesweeper board, where the computer creates a new Minesweeper board, it will place all the bombs first. And then it will fill in the numbers afterward. But imagine that you filled the numbers in first, and you didn't know if there was a combination of bombs that would result in there's a possible valid combination of bombs that would make all of those numbers be true. Well, of course, you can express that in terms of like a bunch of ands, ors, and nots. For example, let's say I just cleared this one space, which could be a bomb. I could totally blow this. No, I shouldn't. Well, let's say I just cleared this and it was a 1, right? Then I would say, okay, so I have a solution. Basically, it's if one of these three is a bomb, then it's satisfied, right? So I write a Boolean expression for what it means for, say, bomb is true and non-bomb is false. For one of the three inputs being true, if it's always true if one of the three inputs is true and the other two are false. That's kind of an ugly Boolean expression, actually. But like the sum of min terms would just be like, if this were A, this would B, and this were C, it would be like A, B naught, C naught, or A naught, B, C naught, or A naught, B naught, C. Okay, so then you have a set of gates, and then and then is that satisfiable? And we already know it is, right? Because it's such a small scale example. And you could scale that up and do that with like the whole thing. So that's, I think, something they call something different than the Minesweeper game. They call it the Minesweeper puzzle, where you actually have numbers first, and you're trying to find if a certain combination of bombs will satisfy those numbers, as opposed to you already knowing that the bombs will satisfy the numbers, and you're just trying to find the bombs. That is apparently what they call NP complete. It's actually equivalent to a satisfiability problem. So, but the problem for me is, well, that doesn't really give me a way to really help me solve the NP problem, because I kind of see it as the same problem. I kind of see why it's the same problem. And because of that, I don't get any sort of freshness from knowing the MP problem is this Minesweeper puzzle of you're given numbers, and you need to find if there are a combination of bombs that satisfy those numbers. So it's completely unhelpful and completely irrelevant to anything as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so this one's clear. I'm going through this Minesweeper thing real slow, unfortunately. Not my best Minesweeper day. That being said, though, I haven't played Minesweeper in a very long time. Okay, one of these, two of these, but there's a bomb there, so I can't really do much off of that. Okay, so I can do, so you can do the thing where it's like one of these three is a bomb. So only one of these two could be a bomb. So this one has to be. Yeah, okay, and that clears these two. Oof. One of these doesn't help me. This is one, so this one's clear. And I goofed up. Who hits play the same board? Let's see if I can go faster this time. Oh, and actually win. That's kind of important. Dear. Yeah, this could split that word there and there, so that doesn't. I'm just kind of stuck with that. Oh, I hate that. There we go, big touche. Um, two out of, okay, this is. Go for lower hanging fruit. Ah, startled me. So this is a 2 out of 3, but only one can be there, so that one. One of these two, so that one's clear. It's one, so it's another 2 out of 3, but only so this one's bomb. It's clear. So that one's clear as well. It's also clear. Ooh. Oh, easy one. I just passed over. Okay. That doesn't help me that much. You can't really eliminate based off of that. So that or that, and then so it could be this one, or that one. Doesn't, and then this one. Either one would have, either way works, so it doesn't really narrow it down. One of these two. So it could be, you could have this one and then over here, or that one. Both would have worked fine, so that doesn't narrow things down. Wow, I'm really stuck. Okay, hit somewhere random. Ah, try to hit a touche. Up, I hit one. Good, I got lucky. Okay. I'm really bad at like missing these diagonal back ones. I was about to mark both of those as, as bombs. Okay. I make that mistake often as I play Minesweeper. Okay, clear. Okay, try to connect over here. So blank, blank, bomb, blank, bomb, bomb, bomb. Clear, 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 bomb. Uh, one of these is, so this one's not. That one's not. Okay, not, not, not. Clear, 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 clear. Bomb, bomb, clear, bomb, clear. I misclicked. Hit like I hit right click when I hit left click when I meant to hit right click. Okay. It gives me nothing. Oops. Okay. I accidentally clicked one space to the right of where I wanted to click. Silly. Like, not both non-logic mistakes, both those two mess ups, just clicking wrong, just mouse work mistakes. Okay. That was stupid. I don't know what that was at all. Okay. Um, that's all I can do with that one. And there you go. So I think all I can do with that one. Why would it be loading? Oh, it's an ad. Okay. Well, um, there we go. Freeze the ad. Oh, it doesn't stop until you. Great. Okay, well, I'm not going to edit this, so. If it's of ads in this video, it'll be like ads inside ads. Okay, stupid Microsoft. I had to go give this a 1-star review for Microsoft literally putting ads in Minesweeper. Like, what's more shill than that? Also, imagine buying. That's such an obscure ad to buy. Like, I want to put an ad in a Microsoft game. That's really inconvenient. It's convenient that it eliminates a lot of bombs, but it's not convenient that it eliminates a lot of hints, too. Yeah. Ouch. Oh. I think it works on that one because there's three. Okay. Misclick. Ooh. Uh, oh, something went wrong. That one. Okay. Well, it didn't propagate, so. I don't look back at my mistake. It's probably so stupid that it doesn't matter. Is that just it? Oh, I can work with this. Great. So there's one of these. Uh, one, one, one. Well, it's basically a string of ones, which is useless. It's also a one, effectively. This is also a one. So it's like a string of ones all the way through here, which makes that completely sterilizes it. Either, another either, followed by another either, followed by another either. So yeah, this is dead. That's it. Great. Thank you. Well, gives me an offense. It really does happen sometimes though, where you get those that two, and like there's nothing that tells you which one is the bomb. It's just a 50-50 shot. Okay. Three hadn't been satisfied. Great. Going on long enough. Yeah, I did it wrong. I didn't see there was already three around that three. Thought there were two for some reason. Okay. Beyond that looks like a dud. See? It was dud one. That seems like it. Oops, clicked the wrong one, but it didn't get me, so phew. Um, great. Uh, can't both. Okay, so this one is 2 became a turn to a 1 makes chances of getting a bomb when you click right next to it kind of low, but not uncertain. Um, okay, not certainly not a bomb. 2 out of these 3 are, which makes it like at least one of them is here. Already did that. Hmm. Oh, no. 2 out of 3, but we can still cross them over in funny ways, though. There we go. Ugh. It's not fun at all. Uh, super sticky. Okay, so there's two, only one of them can join the three, so this has to be a bomb. Go. Already has three. This has to be one. Already has two. Has one. This needs a third. This one already has two. Needs a fifth. Already has three. Needs a third. Already has four. Okay. Two needs a second one. Already has two. Already has two. Already has two. Needs a third. Already has one. Already has one. Needs one. Already has one. And needs three. Good. Needs two. Needs three. Already has two. Already has two. Already has two. Great. Needs one. Still also needs one. I mean, already has one. Whatever I meant to say. Bomb. Clear. Clear. This already has two, so we can eliminate those ones. Bomb. Bomb. Already got one. Already got one. Already got one. Needs a second. Already got one. Okay, so one here. So that has to be one. That clears off these. Then that's clear. This needs a second one. Now this one already has two, so that one's clear. This one already has three, so those are clear. This one needs four, so all four corners. This one already has three, but needs a fourth. Has three. Already has two. Already has one. Three needs a fourth. Needs one, all three, but it has to tell you here, so this one's not it. Needs a fourth. That one needs a fourth. That one has four. Those two are gone, so that one's bomb. This already has three. Already has one. Already has two. Already has one. Needs one. Keeping going. Already has two. Already has three. Already has one. Okay, so this needs one. But that sticks. That sticks right there. It creates an impasse, leaving me stuck seemingly yet again. So one of these two we don't know which. And then one of these three we don't know which. One of these three we don't know which. Two of these five we don't know which. One of these two. So, okay. This one can be clear, I think. Fooey. It's going to give me an ad again, so maybe it's time where I go curse you, Microsoft. And stop recording this. Oh. There are a lot of, like, apps on, like, Microsoft apps that appeared to be try to imitate what Minesweeper looked like back on up to I think Windows XP, but none of them had good ratings, and that might have been because of fake ratings orchestrated by Microsoft or something. That's why I like went for the regular one, even though it had all this nonsense in it. Oh, we can close it now. Okay. Who would actually play like one of these game from an ad like that? Startled again. It's one of those situations where one of these two, but there's absolutely no hint whatsoever as to whether or not it's this one or these two together. Could be either. The only hint you could have is this unknown right here, which in order to avoid going through all of this and then coming back and just getting killed here, because that would be stupid. I'm gonna click this one, and that tells me the answer. Okay. Oh, great. We'll go through this manually, so I can start by saying, okay, let's say that this is a bomb right here. Then that would, well, let's go to the top first. So this one here. Then that would, this is like the satisfiability problem. That would insist that this would be clear, and then this would be a bomb. Which would clear this, well, that would insist that's clear, and that's clear. Because the two. So then that wouldn't help that much, would it? That wouldn't help anything at all, actually. Um, okay. If this one was, then that would make that clear and that clear, which would require this to be a bomb, which would make both of these clear, um, which would require this to be a bomb. And One of these two. We don't know which. That looks perfectly valid to me. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I don't really see wrong with either one. So it's like a 50-50 shot. This right here would tell me something probably. Well, here we go, chance again. Told me that that's not the answer. Cool. So I'm gonna go with this being the bomb. Isn't that clear? Yes. Cool. Got lucky with that. Okay. No, why you have to be a 2? Oh well. That's not fun. But this is fun. It's not good either. Okay, so two of these three, but only one of them can join, so that's a bomb. Does that help me much? No. Oh wait, missing the obvious. Yes, it is, but those two are also bombs. I always overthink it. If you can use a more advanced trick, as opposed to an easy trick, do the advanced trick. Okay, here we go. One of these two, we don't know which, but that means this one's clear. Which means both of these are clear. Bomb, bomb, bomb to make 3. This already has 3, so that's clear. Cool. So I missed the smiley face on the start button, but yeah, if you've ever played the original Minesweeper, you start the game by clicking a button up here with a smiley face, and then when you win the game, the smiley face gets sunglasses. Anyway, that's that. Now there's some other like sacrilegious, that is sacrificing a pig on the altar of Minesweeper stuff here, but I'm just going to ignore that and never record that and try to maybe not record anything Microsoft ever again. If you watched all that junk, that filler, thanks for watching it. I better stop this before this file gets huge.